Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored and Never Boring and my review of issue 61 of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine, a Partworks publication from Hachette Publishing in association with Games Workshop, which comes out every week priced at $7.99. For your $7.99 you get a magazine which serves as an introduction to the hobby, and you also get some cover products. This is normally miniatures, but maybe paints and brushes and other hobby supplies. In issue 61 we are getting some Imperial objectives, so let's take a look at those first. So here we have the Imperial objectives, which come in glorious Games Workshop grey on 2 sprues, and there's some quite interesting stuff on here, and a few not so interesting bits. We get some ammo crates. We've had so many ammo crates by this point. Who keeps leaving these ammo crates scattered all over the place? It's careless. We also have what appears to be some kind of holy artifact. There's like a severed Space Marine hand holding a power sword of some kind on a plinth. We have, this is a servitor, like a medical servitor. Looks like we've got some kind of generator or something. I think those must be the sides of this plinth thing. And some kind of plasma core. There's always a plasma core somewhere, isn't there? We will have a look at the images in the magazine in a moment, which will shed further light on this. That looks like the side of the thing that would be holding the sword. There's some kind of electric pylons or force field generators or something. And then there's like a gurney, which I guess goes with that servitor. So if anyone feels like having a tooth pulled in the middle of a battle, that can be arranged. Yeah, those are cool. They're sort of like a classic Imperial Gothic dystopian future design. And they're cool. What is unusual about this is that at first, I thought that they were the objectives that you can actually purchase in a separate box set from Games Workshop, and that box set retails for $22.50, I believe. However, that is not the case. It was mentioned in the comments to an earlier video that this set is actually from the Urban Conquest campaign box set, which was an expansion for Warhammer 40,000 that allowed you to run an ongoing campaign in an urban setting, and it included some scenery, which was ruined buildings and statues and rubble, and then it included these 2 frames of objectives, along with a map and cards and tokens and everything else you needed to run your campaign. So I had a look around, and I don't believe these are available separately at all. I can't find them being sold separately, and I also cannot find them as part of any other box set. That being the case, they're a little bit difficult to price. Like I say, the standalone set of objectives that you can buy are $22.50. But then also there is a set of objectives for Age of Sigmar, the Shattered Dominion set, and those only retail for £20. And looking at the Urban Conquest box set, you get 4 frames of miniatures. You get these 2 frames, and then you get 2 frames of ruins, but then you also get a map and card packs and a big thick book. So looking at that, if we assume that the Urban Conquest book and tokens and cards and everything is worth about £20, then you're looking at £10 a frame for what's left. So I am, for the sake of my ongoing tally, because what I do with this series is I do a comparison of the cost of purchasing the magazine at $7.99 issue versus the cost of purchasing the products at retail. And I can't always do that because not all of the products are at retail, so I have to come up with a best fit price. So in this particular case, I'm going to say £10 per frame, so this is a £20 set of objectives. That puts in line with the Shattered Dominion objectives from Age of Sigmar, and seems fair in the scale of what Urban Conquest retails for. So that's how I'm doing it. That being the case, this particular issue is fantastic value, because if this is £20 worth of frames and you're paying $7.99, that's a saving of £12 and a penny, which is pretty awesome. Very good value. And like I say, some cool little bits and bobs to throw out on the table. And of course, you also get the value of the magazine itself, which will have some background fluff, and then it will have the build instructions, the paint instructions, any new rules associated with the objectives, and then a new scenario. So let's see what we got going on. First of all, in our fluff section, we have the glorious Thousand Suns, looking spectacular. They are fabulous. And then we have the Conflagration of War, and a very busy looking map. Yep, Prospero, that place burned. And the Fall of Magnus. I actually have the board game Burning of Prospero, which is okay. Somewhat redundant with the existence of Betrayal at Calth. Not as good as Betrayal at Calth, and has some odd rules. You can check out my review actually on alwaysboredneverboring.com, where I go into some detail on that. But yeah, so I know a little bit about Prospero and a little bit about Magnus and his run-in with the Space Wolves. And then here he is, looking extra spectacular. Showcase of painted miniatures. I could never do an army of Thousand Suns. Just look how flamboyant that is, and look how much effort goes into the painting of those. It's, yeah, I'll go for something that I can slap a couple of paints on and leave, I think. And then we have our build instructions for the Imperial objectives. Assembly not required. That's the kind of build instructions I like. Yeah, so some of this stuff you just clip out and they're good to go. They don't look very solid. If you're going to put those on top of the paper mats that have been provided with this magazine, I can see them falling over a lot, because paper mats tend to rut up a little bit along the seams and things. And obviously, just a little tap on a paper mat can send lightweight bits of plastic falling over. So I'm not sure those are the best things to be putting on a paper mat. But there we go. And then we have, yep, here's our servitor. You can add on his little bits and bobs and his tracks. And here's our table. And then, yes, we have our sacred reliquary. And some crates, and a comm center, and a scatter field generator. And then we are into our painting section. So this is going to be a lot of painted metal, slap non-oil on it, and then dry brush. That's my prediction. So yeah, base colors, non-oil, little bits of Retributor armor, Agrax Earthshade, Necron compound for the dry brush, and a little bit of Celestia Grey, Abaddon Black on a few bits, tiny little bits of Rakkar flesh if you feel the urge on the skull bits and whatnot, and yeah, pretty much good to go. And they look pretty cool. Good, simple, clean painting guides. They're going to get tabletop results, good looking stuff, nice and quick. And they've been very detailed. They're showing every different objective. It's not like they're just saying, on all of your objectives, paint the metal bits this way. They're really showing a lot of detail, and that looks quite cool. I like that with the red and then the blue on the sword. That looks very nice. But then they're painting the ammo crates in Athonian, in green with the Athonian camo shade and the gold, and that doesn't look so nice. Although once they've finished them off, they're not too bad. They're okay. I'm not keen on the green crates though. But hey, oh look, there's a thing that isn't in this set because they've reused an image from a previous issue, because that is one of like the ammo crates from a previous set of scatter terrain. But there we go, that's all finished. That shouldn't take too long to get them all done. And they do look quite nice. And then here we go, we are in the new rules section. What have we got here? Your new battle mat. Oh, so we're talking about the new battle mat. They gave us a new battle mat a few issues ago, and this is the first time that they've talked about using it. So it's got stuff on the battle mat, and these are the rules for what those things do. And then gradually you're going to replace them with actual terrain. And then we have Imperial objectives. Below are instructions for using your objective markers. We also break down each of the objectives and the role it fulfills on the battlefield. So, since they are models, your new objectives are 3-dimensional. Really? Wow. However, they are used in the same way as the markers you have used in the past. This means that you always measure to and from the center of the marker, and that models can move over or through them without penalty. If need be, you can remove them from the table for measurement and movement, so long as both players know where they are. Yeah, they know they're on the side of the table. And then we have a surgical table and a medical servitor capable of carrying out surgery on the battlefield. This device boosts Vox signals and allows a commander to broadcast orders across a plan. These aren't instructions on how to use them. This is fluff. A scatter field generator is designed to project a protective shield barrier. But that's not rules for creating a shield barrier or anything, is it? That's, I guess, because they're objectives. I guess they will have instructions based on the scenario you're playing. Yeah, it's just, I guess up here, when they said below are the instructions for using them, they meant this bit was the instructions, and this is just fluffity fluff. Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. They're objectives. They will be, and they will do whatever the scenario requires of them. And then we are into a scenario, Relentless Contagion. So, hold back the horde. Now, here we go. What they've done here, they've actually put together 3 mats. So we had the previous mats, and they've added the new one. This is the newest one here. So we have our biggest battlefield yet. So that's pretty cool. It says, this mission includes an extra piece of printed terrain to place on your battle mat. You can find this piece of terrain on the inside back cover of this magazine. You will need to place it on the mat in the location shown below before you begin playing this mission. So, there's no printed terrain, sir. This mission includes an extra piece of printed terrain to place on your battle mat. You can find this piece of terrain on the inside back cover. No. You will need to place it on the mat in the location shown. All these little red bits are the objectives that we've just got. Those bits would be the antennas, and that's the generator and the crates. That's the servitor. So they say there's a piece of terrain that they haven't included, and then they say that where that terrain goes is marked on the map, but they haven't shown that either. What? Battlefield. This mission uses an additional piece of terrain that's printed on the inside back cover. Yeah, it's so good you've said it twice. Said it twice, included it 0 times. Place it on your battle mat in the place shown above. The circular grate is the main objective. What are you talking about? No models are allowed to move through, over, or onto the circular grate. Victory. What? Victory conditions. The Space Marine player is victorious if they manage to stop any of the Poxwalkers reaching the water pipe marked in red. What water pipe marked in red? What are you talking about? This is a absolute shambles. This is a fail. This quite clearly has had some, I don't know, maybe the idea for the scenario changed at the 11th hour and they forgot to include the terrain. They didn't update the map. I don't know. That's a no-show. That scenario is not playable. That's, I guess, yeah. Well, there we go. What more can you say? That is a fail. That's the first time that they've included something that's that badly messed up. I've seen typos before and bits where there's cut and paste errors, but I have never seen a scenario that you can't play because they completely forgotten to include the terrain. Someone's head will roll. The Inquisition will need to be summoned accordingly. But okay, so that's that. That's a bleak ending to the magazine, isn't it? But at least we got some cool objectives, which, as far as I'm aware, aren't available anywhere else other than the Urban Conquest box set, which is expensive. Let's have a look at what's coming up next, and let's move on. Let's get through this. Next up, we have the servo haulers. Anybody who watched my last video will know that's what's next. And then in issue 63, we have more pox walkers. Well, if you watched my last video, you'll know that I actually predicted the arrival of another frame of pox walkers, and I wasn't that excited about the last frame of pox walkers, but I knew they were coming. I just didn't really expect them to come this quickly since the last one we received. Would have been nice to have had them a bit later on. I guess they just want to make sure you've got loads of pox walkers for your big battles towards the end of the series, but yeah. Oh well. We'll talk about that another time, because for now, I'm going to do my little running totally thing that I talked about earlier. So, cost of the magazine versus full retail price of the products, which hopefully some people will find useful. But that is it from me for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you have liked the video, please consider pressing the like button. And if you have really liked the video, please consider subscribing. And hopefully I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.